Well, howdy, and welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Railroad. And of course, we're coming up on another Monday, aren't we? Let me get this thing set up straight here. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not using my regular camera this time. I'm using my phone camera. And as you can see, I've got my dummy unit sitting here apart. And I'm looking at all this chrome. Well, that's got to get cured. A little bit of silver paint should cure that. Now, unlike the powered unit, now the frame is still metal, but unlike the powered unit, this is plastic. The truck side frames are plastic, where they're die cast on the powered unit. One of the things I was looking at is find a way to get this to where it's a fixed pilot on here, and so it doesn't swing. Put KD couplers on it. None of that's going to happen today. That's not happening today. What's going to happen today is a little bit of silver paint. There, now you won't feel so awkward. A little bit of silver paint. This is a pretty nice little unit in here. I'm not unimpressed with how they had it put together. Now I've never seen the lights work on this one. I'm sure they do. There's a little switch right here, so. But of course it's the trailing unit anyway, so. But I think toning down the chrome on here is probably a very good idea. Now, I'm not going to be able to do much sanding on the side frames, but let's see. Yeah, I see what that is. Okay, that's no big deal. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sand down those side frames, so all I can do is just paint those. The coupler, who cares? But I'd say let's now, when it comes to this unit, when it comes to the body shell, well, one thing Santa Fe did have on all of their F units, they would have had right here would have been a dynamic brake fan on the F7s. On an F7, that dynamic brake fan, and this is an F7, they've even got this correct back here. That is just amazing that they went as far as to get most of that correct. There should be a dynamic brake fan here. For an F7, it would be a 36-inch fan. For an F9, it would be a 48-inch fan. I went ahead and took the crew out, so I've got an extra engine crew here. To put in another engine somewhere that might need it, because it would be a powered engine, you know. A dummy doesn't need an engine crew. I do have my Lackawanna F units from Williams. They could certainly use an engine crew in their lead unit. So now I've got a spare. Ain't no reason for a dummy that's just going to be, you know, it's nothing but a railroad car or a box car at this point to have an engine crew in it. They didn't run engine crews in every single unit when they MU the units. So let me go out and get this painted. Now, another thing that I want to do, a little weathering along the roof line here, you know, where the exhaust comes out and things like that. Even a little weathering along the base. Now, I realize these were typically, in the war bonnet scheme, these were typically passenger units. So they kept them fairly clean. So a little bit of running weathering probably would not be necessarily a bad thing. But you don't want to have total weathering either. So let me go out and paint those real quick. I have some silver spray paint, of course. Yes, they were silver, but they weren't chromed. So, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, now you can see that the lead unit, which is in the picture to your left, as you're facing the, as I'm facing the camera, I'm seeing it the same way you would. That's that one there. The lead unit has not been painted. The underframe has not been painted silver yet. Whereas on the trailing unit, you can see that it has, and you can see that it looks a whole lot more like the real thing, which is what I was kind of looking for. Oh, me. And you can see that it looks pretty darn good. We got to figure out a way of, I guess we're going to have to make spacers for those pilots. Get those pilots mounted, you know, to the frame and away from the truck. Yeah. Okay, you can, but you can clearly see now it looks more like it actually matches the locomotive, and the paint on it, on the truck side frames, look more like they match, again, the locomotive, as opposed to just being real shiny chrome parts. Everybody knows that the Santa Fe did not chrome the trucks. They did not chrome the fuel tanks. They didn't chrome the frame of the locomotives. If you'd have taken those locomotives apart, they'd have been just like any other F unit, only with silver paint. And I imagine the frame was actually painted black, to be honest with you. So, we know where we're going to go with that stuff now. We know what we're going to do. We know that we're going to take, and I will have both units painted up properly, and with all fitting, you know, all fitting and proper like that. Hey, I know this is a short one, but hey, I know it's looking really good now. Alrighty, let's take her for a spin, shall we? Oh yeah, that looks a whole lot better. Matches the train better too. So yes, it's proven that even you can take and actually match up beautifully even the Menards F units with the higher dollar stuff that Lionel would have done in the first place. Let's watch it come through the ridge, shall we? Now, you've heard me talk before about taking and converting over to DC. And of course I'm going to consider that. And part of the reason I wanted these F units was for the primary purpose of converting over to DC. It's going to come around here just about any second. There it comes. Oh, yes. Yep. So much for a Little bit of Monday Night Madness on a Sunday morning, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid it's Sunday afternoon already. Gotta love it, gotta love it. All righty. I think it could do a lot better with starting and stopping if I was running it on DC and get all that other crap, you know, just disconnect from that board, wire the motors directly into the power pickup and run it on DC. And I can promise you one thing, the motors will be a lot smoother. They are CAN motors, which is a plus. They don't have flywheels, but you know, in order to make them run a lot smoother than that, that, my friends, is the circuit boards. That's not the motors. The motors, if they were running on DC, since they are DC motors, you get a lot better slow speed operation out of them. So, taking all that into account, hey, those cars look good lit up, don't they? They probably won't light up like that if I run it all on DC, because I'll have to go all the way to no power at all. However, you know, this is a unit now that I would rightfully consider putting Blue Nami into. I would definitely consider that. Anyway, until next time, happy railroading, and it's just a simple matter of removing 4 screws. On my units, they were the black screws, because there are other screws under there you don't want to remove, because that removes other things. There's no reason to remove the fuel tank or the trucks. I mean, you can if you want, but there's really no reason to. Just take it out and paint it and be happy with it. So, until next time, happy railroading. Okay, I couldn't wait any longer. This is the powered unit, and I'm just waiting for the paint to dry. And now, the fuel tank and side frames on this one aren't plastic. They are die-cast metal. They're pretty nice, actually. Again, from what I can see, the builders did a credible job on it. You know, don't ask me what's on that circuit board. Obviously, it ain't that great a circuit board, or you'd have good slow speed operation, good takeoff and stopping abilities. I believe that those CAN motors, just wiring directly to the CAN motors and running it on direct current would cure 99% of its problems. The other 1%, well, that's usually about all the flywheels do for you when you have flywheels on the motors. You know, I remember, what was it, a couple of years back, so I believe it was Eric Siegel that did a review on one of these, or it was somebody that's pretty prominent in the O-Gauge community on YouTube. And they did they did a pretty good job of it. One of the things that I think they could have, and I agree with them. Yeah, with flywheels on it, it would have better reaction to the takeoff, and it would alleviate some of the jackrabbit starts. The problem is you don't, yeah, it's kind of hard on the gears and stuff to have those jackrabbit starts too, and jackrabbit stops. Cartoon stops. But absolutely. And yes, I'm happy with the way the paint, that paint actually matches it to the silver of the locomotive, which would be just like looking at the real thing. You're looking at a real war bonnet painted F unit, and the silver paint on the fuel tanks and on the truck and on the pilot would match that of the actual F units themselves. So not an issue there at all. Like I said, now, of course, the body shells are exactly the same. Good grief, the numbers on both units are the same. Going to have to change the numbers. On one of the units anyway. First of all, Santa Fe did not run their F units with 4-digit numbers. They ran them with 3-digit numbers, at least on the war bonnet F units. So I will have to find some decals to fix that up with. Again, I feel like weathering across the roof and a little bit of weathering anywhere from black to gray to kind of browns and some earth tones underneath there and on the pilot would not look bad. The pilots are not bad looking pilots. I'm happy with those pilots. They are correct for an F unit. And why Williams and K-Line did just like Lionel and put that really cruddy looking pilot on there, I don't know. But yeah, those are pretty good looking pilots. I'm just, like I said, I'm just waiting for the paint to dry. I'm watching it dry. The humidity is not very bad here today. It hasn't been bad for about the last week. But of course, I've ended up working more days than I expected this last week, and I've got to work tomorrow. So we do have jobs coming up. That's a good thing. But I have to say now, one of the things that, and I may have wrongly pointed it out because Wikipedia or whoever it was online can't seem to get it straight as to whether the Santa Fe did or did not have FP7s. They probably did not. I could not find listings for them anywhere in any numbering scheme. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe ran F7s and F7Bs. And they did have controls in the A units to operate the steam generators in the B units. So they did not have steam generators in their A units at all. So they never did. They also never did have FP7s, which are 4 feet longer than a standard F unit would have been. That's kind of so typical. Anyway, let's get this thing back together. That paint should be dry by now. I guess if it comes off on my fingers, I'll know better. But yeah, the paint should be dry now. The body shell, again, it's just like the B unit body shell. Nicely done, nicely detailed. I love this detail here. It looks like they put the far air grills on it, but no, those are actually F7 air grills. If you take a look at the air grills on this F9 unit from Atlas, you can see, yeah, they're quite a bit different. These are the far air grills, and these, of course, were just stainless steel air grills. The ones on this one were actually stainless steel also. The real ones were. So let's put her back together, get her screwed together, and let's see her run. These go together pretty easily. You want to kind of start back here at the back. Oh, like I said, you want to kind of start back here at the back. And all righty. Okay, she's on. It went right on. Just beautifully. All righty. Okay. Let's turn it up. And get my screws over here. And let's make sure that, oh yeah, she lined right up. Good grief. You can't beat that. And you're able to actually reach this with your fingers. And I'm having to use my big old Craftsman screwdriver here. Because the little screwdrivers, the little precision screwdrivers, you don't really do you any justice here. Let's see here. All right. Now I can get in here with it and okay. Like I said, on the bottom of my unit, it was the 4 black screws. You have screws holding on the fuel tank. You have screws holding on these stirrup steps at the back of the unit. I don't know why there's no stirrup steps underneath the main entry door there, but there ain't. Yeah, alrighty. Nice thing about these is you can get that screw kind of halfway started and you don't have to worry about the screwdriver being magnetized, pulling the screw right back out of whack on you. And of course we're going to give her some test running because, by golly, I did just put paint on the, the truck side frames are right there, right around the wheels. And of course, you know as well as I do that if you mess up, you might be hating life a little bit. Alrighty. Okay. So this is one experiment down on these units. Again, like I said, I'll definitely be pulling this shell off again, because you know that I'm going to take and probably convert this thing completely over to direct current. But I have to hand it to Menards. They made a very nice unit. Like I said, it's more of an FP7, so it's a little bit long for a Santa Fe F unit. Yeah, you can see that the paint has kind of rubbed off on the fuel tank there. Like I said, this fuel tank is metal, unlike the last one on the dummy unit, which is not metal at all. It is it's standard issue styrene plastic. Yes, you can paint over chrome anytime. It's not going to hurt anything. So we do it on model cars all the time, and that paint will stay there for years. But as you can see, the engine already looks 100% better. Let me get set up here and let's see how it looks set up with the, with the other unit and with the other train. Now, as you can see, the units look like they belong on there. They look like they match there. I can't complain too much. You know, some people out there may not realize that there is a difference between silver paint and chrome. Chrome is actually a metal. That's so, you know, even on plastic parts, if you chrome the plastic parts, they're going to be metallized. So at least, you know, on the surface. I probably should have taken and sanded that fuel tank on the lead unit, but I didn't. But let's make sure she still runs after spraying a bunch of paint around those wheels. And we can wear the paint off. So she's running good. That's good. All right, this time it's for real. Be sure, if you like the content, to like and subscribe and to share. I strongly encourage people to share. If you like it, if you like the video, then YouTube sees it in allegedly sees it in the algorithm, and it gets moved to the top of the search list for model trains, or gets moved higher on the search list for model train videos. So until next time, happy railroading.